happening in Venezuela may remind you of something that you're not seeing. It's just under the surface here in America. We'll show you indoctrination and so much more. Tonight, a show you don't want to miss. It's all coming together, isn't it? If you believe this country is great, but the government is trying to change America, fundamentally transform America, well, you better stand up and come follow me. Well, hello, America. You and I have been trying to figure this out, and this is one thing that the critics of this program don't understand, that I think out loud. And these are not rhetorical questions that I'm asking. I really want answers. If I'm wrong, please let me know how. Help me figure the puzzle out. Because that's what this is. Life has become a stupid puzzle. For quite some time, I've known, back in the Bush administration, when they weren't fixing the border and they said, oh, yeah, this is all about security. It wasn't right. It wasn't right. You know, something's not right, and you've known it as well. But you can't figure it out. And it's not just that Obama is really liberal or the stupid political games of left and right. I'm done playing those games, and I think you are too. You worry about your children's future. What will the country look like in 10 years if we just keep going down this course? Something big is happening, much bigger. And nobody is talking about it. Nobody's even trying to figure it out, except it feels like you and me. I believe last night on this program, it was an aha moment for anybody in America that is really trying just to open their mind and figure things out. When I showed you this board last night, the Apollo Alliance, okay, oh look, it's Acorn. Acorn founder Maid Rathke, its former chairman of Tide Center. That's weird. Rathke was on the Tides board. Acorn, Tides, Apollo, Van Jones, Jeff Jones, Weather Underground, uh-oh. And SCIU is on the other side of that. I mean, Acorn, Tides, SCIU, all these connections, and we're seeing now how they're all intertwined. The same people keep popping up over and over again. It's pretty eye-opening. But when you combine that with what is being mobilized, what's happening? It is absolutely frightening what it looks like is coming our way. I mean, unless you like France or something worse. How do we know what anybody in this administration is really working towards? Because they won't talk to people at Fox. They won't talk to anybody who will ask them a tough question. Last night, I played this audio for you, and I think it takes on a whole new light when you actually listen into the context of what you've learned over the last couple of months. Listen, this is the President of the United States.
The Supreme Court never ventured into the issues of redistribution of wealth. The tragedies of the civil rights movement was because the civil rights movement became so court-focused. I think that there was a tendency to lose track of the political and community organizing and activities on the ground that are able to put together the actual coalitions of power through which you bring about redistributive change.
Do you see that? Could you shoot it over here? Look at this. Sorry, Oscar. Here we go. Tendency to lose track of the political and community. What happened to it? Was it over there? Community. It was up on the 103 over here. Oh, well. You lose track of the political community organizing action on the ground that can bring together the coalition of powers which bring about the redistribution of wealth. Well, let's look at this. Gee, what do we have here? We have the coalition of power. We have the community organizing. This is the structure that's going to bring the redistribution of wealth. This is it. It doesn't take a genius to figure it out. And you know what? Soros, nobody's looking at Soros. He's not really playing a role here. How appropriate. I can't really fully erase his name from the board, huh? Change these arrows. Now they go both ways. What happens? You have Tides, you have the Apollo, Acorn, SCIU, and Obama. You have it all. I mean, look at who President Obama, look at who he is. Who is this man? Okay, we know that he was mentored by a communist in his youth. All right, communist in his youth. All right, who hasn't had a communist mentor? Okay, nobody that I know, but he did. That's okay. Is there any piece of him? What piece did he take from Frank Marshall Davis? I'd like to know. Then, he said in his own words that he sought out Marxist professors at college. So, we've got communism, and then we have Marxism. Then he went to a black liberation theology church for 20 years. Look up black liberation theology, will you? Marxist. That's what it is. When this first came about with Reverend Wright, I looked it up. It's Marxism. It started down in South America as a way for revolutionaries to take hold because the church was so strong. They needed to get Marxism into the churches. That's what this is. Then he worked his whole life for social justice. Look social justice up. It is synonymous with the theology of Marxism. Socialism. You got socialists working. I mean, I don't know what you call it. I really don't know what it is. What should we believe? Is the man, does he believe in Marxism? You're made into an idiot if you say something like that. But what we're doing right now is not the free market system. I don't know what you call it. It's shades of something here. I don't know what it is, but nobody will even ask the question. What do you call spreading the wealth around? What do you call what he just said? That you need to look at the community organizers and the structure that they can make that will lead to the redistribution of wealth. What do you call that? It's not the American dream. It's not the free market system, although there is a whole lot of free up on that board. He is certainly not forgotten or lost track of the political and community organizing activities on the ground. Political, Tide, organizing, unions, Acorn. He has not lost how they can pull together the actual coalitions of powers to which you bring about redistributive change. Now, if you're going to fundamentally transform our country, which is what he has told us he's going to do, well, you better do it fast. You better do it fast before people catch on. But the thing is, if they start to catch on, you better have control of the media. I am sorry to say, in America, most of the media has already surrendered to this government. They didn't even have to march in. They just surrendered. You know what? I'm never going to surrender, and I believe most at Fox will never surrender. But we all have our own decisions to make. And here's the great thing. Right now, they can't sit on things anymore. No. CBS, ABC, NBC, they can't just say, well, we're not going to talk about socialism, Marxism. We're not going to talk about its history. We're not going to talk about the coalition of power that can bring redistributive change. We're not going to talk about that, and it'll just go away. Well, now that doesn't happen because Fox is here, and also, just as importantly, the Internet is. Oh, but did you notice there are new rules being contemplated about the Internet? Two of Obama's czars, regulatory czar Cass Sunstein and diversity czar Mark Lloyd. We haven't spent much time on him, but maybe we should start. Just a reminder on who Mark Lloyd is. This is what he said about the Chavez revolution.
In Venezuela, Chavez really had an incredible revolution, democratic revolution, to begin to put in place things that were going to have an impact on the people of Venezuela.
He goes on to say that there were some corporations and many people here from Washington and the United States that made it difficult for that revolution to take place. All those darn pesky broadcasters. Oh, Glenn, he was just talking about, you know, Chavez. It never happened here in America. Really?
What we're really saying is that the fairness doctrine is not enough, and that having a sort of overarching rule that says, you know, broadcasters ought to be fair, ought to provide the issues important to communities, and that they ought to do it in a fair and balanced way is simply enough, unless you put some teeth into that and put some hard structural rules in place that are going to result in fairness.
Okay. Result in fairness. He defines that, by the way. I mean, I hate to put words in his mouth, but Gosh, I've seen a lot of his words. He defines that as the government having complete control of the airwaves.